I believe that the biggest thing that has wrecked people's lives more than almost anything within the last 5 to 10 years has been overconsumption of content, and specifically overconsumption of short form content. Now, I think I heard some stat where it's like the average screen time is like 8 to 10 hours for uh, Gen Z, which is absolutely ridiculous. But I think what's even crazier about that is probably over half that, most likely, is spent on some sort of short form content, such as Instagram Reels, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, anything like that, simply because it's so addicting and it's such an easy dopamine hit that just everyone gets addicted to it. Um, I know personally, I have had TikTok, had Instagram, used YouTube Shorts, and they are incredibly appealing. Um, they can teach you a lot of things about a lot of stuff, but that's somewhat of the trap. Um, because I'll give you my personal anecdote from my experience with it. Like, being on TikTok is somehow a little bit of what got me into working out. It got me into online business. Uh, it got me into new music, new YouTube videos, of creators that I like, and a lot of who I am today. So that is the positive side of it. But that comes at a very expensive cost. Um, Whenever I am on TikTok, uh, it's always the most emotionally stimulating stuff, which is why it was able to force me to take that action on stuff that like struck a chord with me. Like, oh yeah, I could do that. Let's go take some action there. But when you're spending, you start out spending like 15, 20 minutes, and next thing you know, it's 2 to 3 hours. When you're spending like 2 to 3 hours on short form content, you're probably going through hundreds, if not thousands, of videos. Um, and that's not just regular everyday life type of things. Those are the most polarizing, the most like suck you in and draw your attention away as possible content that will get you hooked and emotionally spun up uh the vast majority of the time, because that's the only type of stuff that goes viral. If it's able to like strike an emotional chord or make you really think about something, because that's what draws attention. So this is especially bad with any social media, but short form specifically. When you're doing it, you're seeing hundreds, if not thousands, of videos every single day of the most emotionally stimulating, the most uh, intellectually stimulating, sometimes physic like it's just incredibly stimulating. That's overall going to contribute to overstimulation in your life, which eventually leads to underappreciation of everything else. Have you ever spent a really long time on social media and then afterwards stuff that you used to like kind of just felt dull? Like, I'll give you an instance of this. This isn't really that healthy either, but I remember in like middle school, I started first like being on short form content, and after going back to like a video game that I used to love, which isn't really that great, but it's also not that bad for you. I was like, this isn't really exciting anymore because I'm used to the dopamine stimulation of short form content. Now, that's video games. Think of how ridiculous that's like one of the most stimulating things there. Um, think of how difficult it was for me to focus on work. Think of how difficult it was for me to go like, you know what? I want to go for a walk in nature. Um, and I think a big part of me not being further along in life is because short form content sucked all of my energy away so many times that I could have done more effective stuff with it. Think about, like, just check right now. Think about how much time you spend on social media and on consuming other things. Just think about that. Check your data or whatever, and think, if I contributed that to learning a new skill that I really care about. Let's say you wanna have a new side hustle to make an extra $1,000 a month. You wanna have a new surfing skill. You wanna learn surfing. So you wanna go to the beach every day. You wanna learn surfing. You wanna become a great martial artist, a great boxer. Let's say you have 4 hours every single day you spend on social media. That's 4 times 7, almost 30 hours a week. That's almost a full-time job. That's all of that time on social media you could have been devoting to doing that thing that could have improved your life, could have made you a overall better person. It would be a net positive compared to doom scrolling on social media. And I understand, and believe me, I personally fall victim to this, where it's like, a common argument for this would be, well, I'm not like doom scrolling when I have tons of energy enough to go like do a workout or do a new skill. I'm doom scrolling when I have like no energy and I just want to like turn my brain off for a bit. But I think that's the core of the issue. I think if you're tired, then you shouldn't be finding even more and more stimulating stuff to be able to entertain you. I think if you're tired, then you should recover, you should sleep, you should do whatever you need to do that's not super stimulating to get back to a state where you feel well enough to do meaningful things in your life, where you feel well enough to do a sport, hang out with friends, date, hang out with family, get meaningful work done. There's just so many better things you can do than consuming content. And this also refers to watching YouTube videos as well. I think, like everything, it's good in moderation. I think YouTube is significantly better than short form content in moderation. I also think that the hierarchy of consumption basically goes short form, long form, then podcasts and audiobooks above that, and then physical books above that. Or actually, I'd say audiobooks and physical books are about on the same level. Just because you're focusing on one singular thing for like 10, 20 hours. I think that's phenomenal for how long you're supposed to focus on something. That'll probably, if you're able to read through something or listen to a single audiobook for 20 hours, that'll probably, if you have a difficult time focusing on things, if you do that for like a month, you probably won't have difficulty focusing on things. Like, a lot of difficulty focusing on things stems from overconsumption of content, and that overconsumption of content dysregulating emotions, in my opinion. And also make you a lot more content with your own life. You're not comparing it to a bunch of other people's. Now, this has to be filled with something. I personally want to fill it with as many hobbies as possible, stuff that I genuinely enjoy. And I'm like, you know what? That stuff is 100 times better than doom scrolling, which makes me, it like double reinforces it. Like, there's never the negative of social media, and there's the positive of this new thing. So it makes me like, there's no reason not to do it otherwise. But if you replace it for something like another form of consumption, like let's say you replace doom scrolling for watching Netflix, I'd argue that's better. But if you're doing the same thing of just binging content, that's not really helping you that much. I think Netflix, I think YouTube are very good in moderation. But if you're someone who's just been nonstop consuming for a very long time, I think it's very healthy just to stop consuming basically everything for maybe a week or two. During that week, you can this is where it's difficult because basically everything is consumption. But during that week, you can go and find new hobbies. Let's say you want to go work out more, you want to uh go take walks in nature, go you learn skating. There's so many things you could do, so many things you can create, uh so many adventures you could go on. That's the whole point of this. The whole point is to have a significantly more exciting life than you would if you just spent that time doom scrolling. That's the whole point I'm trying to get across. I know it's a little bit wordy to get there, but I hope you got the overall point. And just the less time you can spend consuming other people's content and the more time you can spend doing shit on your own and creating your own stuff, even creating your own content. Like, that's the reason why I like to do these too. It's an opportunity to create more than I consume. Just the more you can create, the more you can do, the better your life will be, and the more you'll understand who you are as a person. Because if you're just consuming a bunch of other people's content, that's who you're going to become. You're not going to have your own sense of individuality. You're just going to be a puppet for whatever ideas an algorithm pushes, which I would heavily advise against. It's not really a good way to live life, in my opinion. That's it for today. I hope this helped some people, and overall, just if you're one of those people who consumes a ton of content, just commit to yourself and say, I just will not consume content for X period of days because I want to have a more fulfilling and more happy life, and I will do these things instead. I think that'll be an awesome way to live life and probably make your life 100 times more enjoyable. Like, that's not even an exaggeration. I tried this myself, and when I was over binging TV shows, over binging short form, I deleted all of it. I just went out and actually did things, and I was like, this is awesome. Go on long drives, go to the beach, hang out with friends, hang out with family, go on dates, fucking live life. That's the whole point of this. Just live life, and don't live it through someone else's story. Thanks for watching.